What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel, Tag Your It. Today, the word of the day is boundaries. Let's talk about it. So, I think it is very, very, very important to set boundaries. To me, boundaries protect your peace. They protect your mental health. And they just overall protect you from being violated by people. Whether that be emotional, mentally, or even physically. With that being said, I've had some situations in my past where I did not set certain boundaries and it came back to bite me. When you are a natural giver, and it's in your heart to always give and help people, it's a blessing to have a good heart, but it's also, I'm not going to call it a curse, but it has to be protected because a lot of people are takers in this world and they don't care. They don't genuinely care about you. All they care about is what you can do for them, which makes the relationship strictly transactional, which is not good because it's not genuine. And for me, I don't want anything in my life that's not genuine. And when we don't speak up, when we stay silent and do it anyway, because, that's my friend or that's my, family and, they really need me to do this, and even if it goes against your boundaries, you do it anyway. So you become a disservice to that person because, again, when you constantly help people and you're always helping, then they're never going to get their self together because now you have stepped into the point of becoming an enabler. I'm not saying don't help somebody, but give them the tools to help themselves. And the biggest thing is you can't want more for a person than what they want for themselves. Also with boundaries, a lot of times I'm very non-confrontational. So instead of having a confrontation or having to speak up and use my voice, I would sit quietly. But what does that do when you sit quietly? Basically, when you sit quietly and you don't speak your truth, then technically what you're doing is eating your feelings. So instead of getting it off of your chest, and I'm not saying in a negative or disrespectful way, but just letting that person know, hey, this is how this makes me feel and I don't want to do this, or whatever the situation may be. Speak up, use your voice. Like I tell my 12-year-old, I'm very extroverted. She's more introverted, and I try to, let her know, I'm not saying you have to be a social butterfly, but you must speak up. When somebody is not doing the right thing or they're treating you not in the proper way, you have to speak up for yourself, because when you don't speak up for yourself, then that gives the message that it's okay for them to treat you that way. And honestly, I had to learn that life skill. With losing my mother, I felt like some relationships I had to salvage because I had nobody, but that's not true. Sometimes it's meant for relationships to fall apart, whether that be friendships or even family ships. Everybody is not meant to go with you during your journey, and I had to learn to protect my peace by setting strict boundaries. And like I said, the only people that hate boundaries are the main ones that need them. And it's so funny, as soon as you set a boundary, and you say no, that's how you can find what somebody really thinks of you. Tell them no when they're used to you saying yes, and you will get a totally another version of them. But it's important to set boundaries because, like I said, in the past, I have been non-confrontational, not wanting to offend anybody, but I had a therapist tell me, well, if you're non-confrontational and you're not willing to speak up, then basically you're a people pleaser. And essentially I was like, no, I don't think I'm a people pleaser. But technically you are a people pleaser when you put it in hindsight, because if you're doing something that you really don't want to do, you really don't feel comfortable doing it, but you're doing it so the other person won't be mad at you, won't feel upset with you, and once again, you're meeting their needs, but disregarding your own. So have boundaries, people. I don't care who it is. Your boundaries are your boundaries. And if a person cannot respect your boundaries, then they shouldn't be in your life because they don't have respect for you. And more than likely, they don't have it for themselves. So if this message helps somebody or you resonate with the message, I would love a like. Feel free to share it, and you guys have a blessed day.